Thank you for joining us on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Tough times are gone, says President TINUBU in his solemn message to Nigerians. Khan urges politicians to make sacrifice to save Nigeria. National Rescue Party battles INEC over chairmanship recognition. The detail. The commanding officer of the 248 Reke Battalion Ilela Unit, Sokoto State, Colonel Abdullahi Umar, says troops under his command are highly motivated and well supported by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede, and the General Officer commanding GOC-8 Division and Commander Sector Operation Fansan Yamma, Major General Ibikunle Ademola, to eliminate Lakurawa terrorists and bandits operating in the northwest. Colonel Umar made the disclosure while interacting with defense correspondents during a media tour to the 248 Reke Battalion in Ilela, a Sokoto State border community with the Niger Republic. According to the CO, prior to the unit's deployment 5 months ago, Lakurawa posed a growing threat to residents of border communities in Binji, Gada, Gudu, Ilela, Silame, and Tangaza local government areas. After 10 to 15 clearance operations, the group's activities have significantly diminished.
Now, by late last year, 2024, the issue of Lakurawa terrorists started resurfacing. Why? Because they are encroaching into our own territory and recruiting younger ones, giving them a huge amount of money, using religious ideology to psych them. Growing threat become more worrisome when the state government declared that some of the local government or community within the affected area, those areas affected were mostly Ilela itself, part of Ilela, Tangaza, Gudu, Silami, and Binji local government area. All those local governments share boundary with Niger.
Colonel Umar, who also oversees the Defense Headquarters Special Operations Brigade, stressed that the military high command has been responsible approving for operational requests and providing necessary logistics without delay to sustain the fight against terrorism and banditry, despite the high cost of maintaining the armored unit. Colonel Umar, while highlighting the effective collaboration between Nigerian and Nigerian forces at the border, explained that both sides maintain constant communication during operations to prevent terrorists from escaping through border communities.
The Chief of Army Staff, after appointing him, or after confirming him as chairman, he visited this unit, because this is the first unit he visited. And when he came, after some interaction, because he too now asked what do we need, and we stated, and alhamdulillah, he provided those logistics. Now, he's not only providing the logistics, is the sustenance of the logistics that make the operation so effective. So in that, I want to give kudos to the General Officer Commanding. Honestly speaking, the General Officer Commanding has done very, very well. You understand, there are two things. You might have the resources, but you're willing to give the strategic guidance, the strategic support, and listening ear from the person doing it. Okay, what do you think we can do? The Chief of Army Staff.
The tour was part of efforts by the Defense Headquarters to keep Nigerians updated on the activities of the troops' operations nationwide. While President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to be patient with his administration's reforms, assuring that the toughest days are behind us. Tinubu, who gave the assurance in his message to mark the 2025 Eid al-Kabir celebration, said though the journey had not been easy, his economic reforms had already started yielding positive results. The president also urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the armed forces and security personnel who are risking their lives daily to keep the country safe. Reflecting on the significance of Eid al-Kabir, TINUBU called on Muslims and Nigerians to embrace the values of sacrifice, selflessness, and compassion which the festival symbolizes. He highlighted the example of Prophet Ibrahim's devotion as a model for national renewal, unity, and perseverance. Meanwhile, similarly, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, and some state governors have called on Nigerians, particularly Muslims, to use the occasion of the Eid al-Kabir festival to pray for the unity and prosperity of the country. Atiku, in a statement from his media aide, also called on those in leadership to demonstrate compassion and place the well-being of the people above all in accordance with divine guidance. In a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Musa Krishi, the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas implored Muslims to imbibe the spirit of sacrifice, which according to him is one of the hallmarks of the Eid al-Kabir celebrations. Through his special advisor on information and strategy, Kayode Akimbade, in Abeokuta, the state capital, the Ogun State Governor Dakbo Abiodun urged the Muslim faithful to embrace the teachings of Islam during this period, which according to him underscores the significance of selflessness and compassion towards another. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji, through his special advisor on media, Yinka Oyebode, also enjoined Muslims to imbibe the core lessons of Eid al-Kabir. On his part, Katsina State Governor Dikko Umaradda, in a message to Muslim faithful by his Chief Press Secretary Ibrahim Muhammad, urged the citizens to embrace faith, sacrifice, and unity for the state's continued progress and security. Former presidential aspirants on the platform of the Labour Party, Chief Executive Officer, Anak Group, Dr. Sami Charles, has sent felicitations to Nigerian Muslims and across the world as they mark Eid al-Kabir celebrations. He urged them to pray for the survival of democracy in Nigeria and the overthrow of the enthronement of good governance in 2027. Sami Charles also urges all Muslims to use this period for sober reflections as he sympathized with the families of all those that lost their lives in the ravaging flash floods in Mokwa, Niger State. He advised Nigerians to avoid building in flood-prone areas to avert any repeat of the Mokwa incident. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 19th Northern States and the FCT has urged Nigerians in positions of authority, particularly the political leadership, to make the double sacrifice to secure Nigeria, just as Muslims offer sacrifices in obedience to God during Salah. The chairman of the association, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, gave the advice in a Salah message to the Muslim faithful as they join other parts of the world to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. The religious leader further advised the political elite to act in consonance with their constitutional obligation and moral responsibility in the interest of every Nigerian. Hayab further encouraged political leaders to live up to expectations and keep their promises so as to make life better for the people. Asset Television News will return after the breather. Stay with us. Thank you for being there. If you are just joining us, you are watching the news on Assets Television. Moving over to politics now, the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has dismissed growing speculations that President Bola Tinubu may sideline Vice President Kashim Shettima ahead of the 2027 presidential election. The party is speaking through its national vice chairman, Southeast, Dr. Ijeoma Arodiobu, downplayed the speculation, calling it a distraction. He added that it was not unusual for such rumors to surface in the build-up to an election cycle, but stressed that the president had his deputy remained aligned and fully endorsed by the party. The rumors of the president dropping Shettima in 2027 emerged shortly after 22 APC governors, National Assembly leadership and party leaders endorsed Tinubu as the sole presidential candidate for the next election. The endorsement was first moved by the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, and seconded by Kaduna State Governor Ubasani during the APC National Summit held in Abuja. Shortly after the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, on behalf of the National Assembly, also endorsed the president for re-election based on his performance. The national chairman of the APC, Dr. Umar Ganduje, on behalf of the National Working Committee, affirmed the decision that Tinubu is the sole candidate of the party for the 2027 presidential election. While the endorsement was met with jubilation in some quarters, it also triggered criticism from opposition parties and within APC. Now, the National Rescue Movement has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize Edozie Njoku as the party's national chairman. Well, it was warned that failure to do so may lead to contempt of court proceedings. Njoku was elected along with other party executives during an emergency national convention held on January 17, 2025 in Abuja. Before the convention, NRM approached the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking an order compelling INEC to monitor the event. The court granted the request on January 16th, directing INEC to monitor and accept the outcome of the convention. The court also granted the party leave to apply for a writ of mandamus compelling INEC to perform its legal duties under Section 82, subsection 1 and 83, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022. Speaking to journalists at the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Asokoro, Njoku expressed frustration that INEC has yet to comply with multiple court orders confirming his leadership. He said he remains hopeful that INEC will comply with the court's orders, especially since the commission has not appealed the judgment. The United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., has said that the U.S. will be focusing on private sector-led investment instead of aid in its engagement with Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Mills Jr. said this on Thursday at the fireside chat held at the Lagos Business School with the theme towards the robust U.S.-Nigeria commercial and investment partnership. Nigeria is the U.S. second largest trade partner in Africa, with bilateral trade hitting about $13 billion at the end of 2024. To achieve this goal, Mills Jr. stated that last year the U.S. Department of Commerce, working together with Nigeria's Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, signed a commercial and investment partnership agreement. With that story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.